morning. Thank you, John. Thank you for attending this first technical workshop of the DigiBUILD project. I'm Diego Arnone, I'm the project coordinator. And now I'm going to present you very briefly the DigiBUILD project that I'm very glad to coordinate. And I suppose that you now can see my screen in presentation mode.
Exactly.
Okay, thanks. So I don't want to spend too many words in describing the general vision or the objectives. I want to simply go through a very short presentation in which I will explain which are the main outcomes expected by this project. So I want to focus mainly on the expected results. The first one that is already there, has been already published in deliverables, is the co-design and co-creation approach. This is an important part, initial part of the project that basically means involving all the stakeholders in the definition of user stories, in designing use cases, in gathering user requirements and system requirements. So we took inspiration of the Bauhaus initiatives, and this picture shows the Jamboard adopted from this Bauhaus approach to fit the DigiBUILD pilots that basically are the source of our analysis. The second point is about the data that must be collected, that must be harmonized, and whose level of quality must be improved. So the second significant result of the project is basically a federated data lake. So as I said before, the idea is to have a high level of data quality, even because the project is mainly focused on the design and development on data-driven services. So data are the starting point of our work. That's the reason why we have a dedicated work package on this topic. And also some business intelligence analytics that is being developed through the concept of data marts to obtain more relevant data. These data will be used by services and by digital twin. That is another key point, another expected outcome of the project. So interoperability obviously is another open point that must be addressed, because we usually have several different data models, data formats, that different sources of data and information. So we have to increase the interoperability by leveraging standard-based data models. So we have basically three types of interoperability addressed by the project: the southbound interoperability in order to access local databases, existing monitoring with sensor networks. So it's in the lower part, let's say, of our architecture. The northbound interoperability in order to provide open data through open APIs on top of the DigiBUILD platform, and the semantic interoperability that we are managing by properly adopting data models. This is the focus of the technical workshop, because the presentation that will follow my presentation are basically a presentation of services that have been already developed, so are part of this long list of services that are being developed. And so we are talking about AI-based services for enhanced energy performance, for enhanced comfort and well-being, for better informed decision-making and renovation roadmaps. So we have basically three groups of services. So this is the current status at the moment, starting from the co-creation, co-design approach. We addressed all the aspects related to the specification, to the requirements. Then we go through the data lake and the first implementation of services. And then after these first services, we will complete the list of services under development, and we go through the digital twins that in some cases will develop new services, and some others will will exploit the services that are already mentioned in the slide before. So digital twins for buildings and more, because we are talking about digital twins for buildings, but also digital building logbook and building passport, district network digital twin, digital twin for optimal energy management, for designing future buildings. So the concept of digital twin is addressed in different ways for different pilots in different part of the project. So the last point is about the pilots, because another very important part of our project is the pilots that are able to provide data, and in which we are going to validate our approaches, our tools, services, and software development. And as you can see here, we have 3 different clusters of pilots: building performance, building versus infrastructure optimal management, and policy and finance. So as you can see, these pilots are all around Europe in different climate zones. And so you can see here that we have several pilots classified in 3 different clusters. Validation in real-life environments is a key point of our project, and the availability of real data is also an added value that will help our work, that it is basically the development of data service, data-driven services based on artificial intelligence. So I tried to be quite quick. So I think that now it's important to leave the floor to our colleagues that will go in more details about some of the services that have been developed. I want to underline that what we expect from the audience is basically, it's obviously an opportunity to disseminate our work, but it's a technical workshop, so we would like to collect your feedback, the level of innovation, your interest, your suggestions. We invited experts, we invited other projects, so people that perfectly know this domain, that perfectly know similar projects. So we expect to collect from your side some interesting suggestions, comments, and feedback. So thanks, and enjoy the other presentation.
Thank you very much, Diego, and thanks for reminding about the purpose of this workshop. I would like now to invite the first service presenter to share the screen. Hi, Daniela.
Hello. Okay, give me a second. Okay, can you see my screen?
Yes, in full mode. Thank you.
Okay, so hello everyone. My name is Daniela Stoian. I'm from NTUA, and today I will talk to you about AI-based services for finer-grained energy profiling and forecasting. Now, a big issue today is, of course, the energy consumption, and the building sector alone is responsible for 40% of the total energy consumption. And the big problem is also that 97% of those buildings are not even energy efficient. So we need to take small steps into this direction. And with our services, we aim to help the user make more data-informed decision-making when it comes to the usage of their buildings and their devices. So we offer services to help them monitor and minimize uncertainty with forecasting, support and improve energy management, and provide advice on consumer behavior so that the energy use is further optimized. So what are the objectives of our services? After getting data from smart buildings, We aim to provide monitoring of energy consumption and thermal comfort to the users, and we will also do that by showing data visualizations. And we also want to provide advice for optimizing the energy use. And by doing all of those things, we want to help the users achieve savings while, and this is very important, maintaining their comfort. We do not want to change that. So this presentation is going to be split into two services that work together. The first service is about evaluating AC replacement. So how this works is we take data from the AC sensors and we analyze them. This data is consists of a sensor file, so the consumption, temperature in and out, and also the information and the specs of the new AC. And by using this data, we compute the following KPIs: the operating hours, heating and cooling, the electricity consumption before and after the replacement of the AC, the monetary cost of operation and investment, and the payback period. And we classify the replacements with payback period less than 5 years as profitable, as we don't want the user to wait too long to make savings from the replacement. The methodology behind this service is first we calculate the working and idle hours of the AC. Then we calculate the PMV based on the environmental conditions, and then by gathering this information, we perform an energy consumption analysis. You can see part of the energy consumption analysis here on the right. You can see, for example, how the consumption changes with the temperature inside and outside of the room, and also how the PMV behaves with the consumption. So after calculating that information, we get this output here. So for each room and each AC, we have its capacity. We have calculated the operating hours for heating and cooling separately. We have calculated the electricity consumption before and after the replacement. And you can also see the savings that the user would get if they replace their old AC. We also have the investment for getting a new AC, and you can also see the annual savings that the user gets. And by combining all that information, we can calculate the payback period, so how many years the user would wait in order to start actually making savings from that investment. And we classify as profitable only investments that have a payback period with less than 5 years. So in general, this is a very simple and straightforward service, yet it is very effective, and it really helps the user in a very easy way to make a decision. And especially when you have an old AC or many ACs in your building, this is very helpful for them. Now, moving on with the follow-up service, which is evaluating the AC usage. There is replacing your old AC is not the only way to make savings, both energy and cost. If you operate an AC not so reasonably, you can also make savings from there. So what we want to do with this service is we evaluate the AC operation based on thermal comfort, and we see if additional energy savings opportunities may be identified and achieved through behavioral changes. And if those changes can significantly reduce costs on their own, then the replacement of the AC may not be necessary. So if you're misusing an AC and, for example, you have it running all day, and you're not really in that room, we can identify that behavior and show the user that by changing it, they can actually achieve a lot of savings without having to invest into a new AC. So how this works is We use the input from the previous service, so all the things that we have calculated, working hours, energy consumption, costs, efficiency, etc., temperatures, and we process it, and we also extract some features like temperature lags and moving averages. After that, we use light gradient boosting regression to train a model in order to help us perform 1 hour and 24-hour ahead simulations. We will complete the simulations for different cases, including the ideal usage of the AC and the actual working hours of the AC. So in order to complete the simulations, we do some decision making for the AC operation based on the PMV and the simulated temperatures. And by doing all that, we get an output of key statistics, energy savings, and cost reduction metrics that we can better see in the next slide. So here we can see the output of the second service. First, we can see the graph with the actual, the simulated, and the proposed. So the ideal PMV that the AC would give us. And in our data set and in this example, you can see that the PMV is mostly inside the bounds that we have set for comfort. So we can say that the AC system is being operated reasonably. So there is not much that can be changed in the user's behavior in order to achieve more savings. And in the table below, we can see again for each room the AC's capacity, the payback period, the PMV, and we can also see the comfortable hours. So how, what percentage of the time the user is comfortable and the PMV is between the set limits. And we can see that even if we had the ideal scenario, so the one that we propose where we do the best possible usage of the AC, you can see that the energy and the cost savings are not that great. We have here the annual energy savings and the cost reduction, and because we operate the AC reasonably, we don't really see that much of a difference. So if the user wants to replace their old AC, then they should do so, because that is the only way that they would actually get some significant cost reduction and energy consumption reduction. But if there was a scenario where, for example, the comfortable hours were 50% and the AC was operated for a long time and it was quite old, then we would see much greater cost reduction and energy savings. So in conclusion, we have created two services that provide insight into energy consumption based on PMV, and they help the user to easily monitor the energy consumption and make decisions on their AC system. And we believe that we have helped the user achieve reductions on cost, consumption, and emissions without sacrificing their comfort, which is very important for us and for the user, of course. And we also plan on creating a future UI so that the user can have easier access and use of our services. That's it for those services and for my presentation. I hope you like them, and I will gladly accept any questions that you might have.
Thank you very much, Daniela. I think it's now time for the first live poll. I'm going to share the first screen. So please keep with us. Yeah, here we are. Please scan the QR code with your smartphone and enter the live poll platform to share your reply. Let us know, Daniela, about this question.
Yes, so in the first question, we would like your input about the future UI that we're planning to make. We think that there might be some more things that the user is interested in seeing. And here I have some 3 outputs that are fairly easy to calculate with the data that we already have. Of course, I will say I encourage everyone, if they have an extra recommendation for our future UI, please say so either in the chat or here. So that's it for the first question.
Yeah, how did you feel about the responses?
Honestly, I thought that the first one, so the code to saved from the investment, would be more appealing, because we have talked a lot about cost and comfort and energy consumption, but we have to remember that with this service we are also helping in reducing CO2 emissions. But I suppose that seeing more information and graphs about consumption and cost would actually be more interesting to a user, because they are actually worried about how they use their AC and, for example, what costs they have each month and what they can do about it. So for me, it makes perfect sense, actually. Yeah, as a user, of course, I would like to see more about that.
Yeah, very interesting to see what people vote for. I think it will be useful for the further development from your side, Daniela. I'll give a few seconds more, and before passing on to the second question, I think we have a really clear result here. So
yes, we have our winner already, I think.
Okay, let's go to our next question here.
Yes, so as you have seen from my presentation, we have used thermal comfort as a benchmarking parameter. So we judge the user's behavior and the usage of the AC based on thermal comfort. And we would like to ask you if that is something that actually interests you, because there is not very much that we can do with the data that we have. So thermal comfort was our best option, but I know that, for example, there is a possibility to use thermal zones as another benchmarking parameter that maybe could also increase the accuracy. And we'd like to see your input on that, so that we know if we should change this benchmarking parameter, or if we should keep with it. I think since our services are have the user's comfort as a first priority, the thermal comfort is actually something that a user would like, because I don't think that it's easy for someone to sacrifice their comfort in order to do more savings and on energy consumption and cost.
Yes, interesting comment, and good to see here people's participation. I think it's very interesting for people, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I also think that they agree that the user's comfort plays a big role, and they would likely not sacrifice it.
Very, very, very good. Thank you very much, Daniela. I think for now I will invite the next speaker to share the screen and go to the second presentation of the services. So I'm stop sharing mine. It will be Marilena Lazzaro from engineering.
Yes, good morning. Can you see my screen?
Not yet.
Let me share it again.
Yes.
Now?
Now we can see your screen.
And now the slide in presentation mode.
Yes.
Okay, thank you so much. So good morning. I'm Marilena Lazzaro from engineering, and today I'm going to talk about the optimal management in distributed network. This is something that we have, this is a work that we did in the DigiBUILD project with the collaboration of the University in Palermo. In particular, we have developed an algorithm for optimizing the production, improving the energy efficiency, and reducing the cost. So first of all, I would like to introduce you the context. So we are talking about distributed network. Today we know that almost 10% of the heating consumption industry and buildings comes from heating networks. They are also responsible for the 4% of global CO2 emission. And last but not least, since 2010, new connections to distributed networks have increased by a factor of 3.5% per year. So this means that these heating networks cover an important role in cleaning energy transition. And this is the reason why, according to the International Energy Agency, we know that we have a specific object. So the CO2 intensity of this heating network emission has to be degraded in 2030 in respect to what we have in last year in 2022. How it will be possible to achieve this goal? So we have to make more efficient the distributed networks, and in particular we have to work on developing, on designing innovative optimization tools that will be able to improve the design and the performance of energy system. So this slide provides you an overview of our services, in particular of the objectives. So the goal of these services is to provide an optimal management of distributed network for determining the most effective combination of its sources. We will have the advantage of reducing the CO2 emission, but also the operating costs and the energy consumption. Thanks to these services, the facility manager will be able to select one of the different optimization strategies that are suggested, and there is the possibility indeed to exploit this service through a distributed network digital twin. We have a real application in Veolia pilot that is one of pilots that we have in the DigiBUILD project. I will provide you more detail in the following slides. So this is an overview of the services. These services rely to a distributed network, of course, and follows a data-driven approach. So this means that we start from distributed data. We perform a data analysis with the main objective to process data and to calculate new variables that are relevant for training the machine learning models of the boilers. Once the machine learning models are completed, so they are a relevant part of the optimization algorithm with the aim of minimizing, for example, the cost or the CO2 emission. The outcome of this optimization algorithm is a list of optimal operation strategies, basically some suggestions that are provided to the facility manager in order to improve the performance, the energy performance of the distributed network. One important thing, an input of this service is also the provision, the prediction of the next day's distributed network consumption. What about the real application of these services in Veolia? This is an overview of the pilot. I'm going to explain you the main characteristic of the distributed networks available in the pilot. The pilot is located in Spain. We have 3 gas boilers. We have 23 distribution substations able to provide the heating and domestic hot water to the households of the district heating. And this is an overview of the data that we monitored in the pilot with regards of both boiler and distributed networks, such as the supply temperature or the supply and return water temperature to the district. This is the application of the services in the Veolia case. So we have this in data, the ones that I showed you before. We have performed the data analysis in order to calculate two main variables that are the gas consumption and the boiler efficiency. Moreover, we have started the correlation between these variables, and only relevant variables has been used to train the machine learning models of boilers available in the district. The machine learning models are an important part of the optimization algorithm. The optimization algorithm that we selected is a non-dominated sorting genetic algorithm with the main goal to minimize the gas consumption. The outcome is the best strategy, optimization strategy that we would like to provide to the facility manager. And also, we provide an information about the gas consumption. Okay, so focusing on what we have developed with the regards of artificial neural networks models. As I told you before, we have 3 boilers in the distributed network, and we have developed the machine learning models for all boilers, focusing on the gas consumption and on the efficiency. What we have discovered at the end is that we have more effective results when we computed the gas consumption of boiler 1 and boiler 2, that are 2 boilers operating concurrently. With respect of the boiler 3, that is a boiler operating during the summer month, we have obtained more valid results in the models focused on the efficiency. This is the focus on the optimization algorithm. In these slides, you can see the results of the validation that we did in the pilot. In particular, we know that applying the optimization algorithm as selecting some best decision variable, we will have about 30% of energy saving. That we can say that is a good result. As decision variables, in this case, we have selected the supply temperature and the boiler's hour of functionings. Regarding the machine learning models, in this experimentation, we have used the models for boiler 1 and boiler 2. The application, the usage of a machine learning model for the other boiler, the boiler 3, is a work in progress. It's something that we are doing in the next period. So this slide provides you an overview of the key points of the services. According to our to the validation that we have performed, according to our experience, which are the benefits? First of all, the reduction of the cost of the distributed network and the CO2 emission. We would like to increase the efficiency, and also the machine learning model that we have developed will be also available, will be exploited also for simulation purposes. Which is the novelty? We have adopted a machine learning data-driven approach. And also the novelty consists in the possibility to exploit these services in combination with the digital twin for the distributed network. These services satisfy also the requirement of replicability, because similar machine learning algorithm could be implemented in different distributed networks with multiple heat sources. Moreover, the optimization framework includes constraints and objectives function that can be usable in other case studies. Sorry. So what about the next steps? We would like to improve the physical model of the system because at the moment we have implemented 3 physical constraints that are the supply temperature of boiler that has to be higher than the supply temperature of the distributed network, and also the energy produced by boilers has to be aligned with the overall hours of functioning and sites for both boiler 1 and boiler 2. We would like to improve these physical constraints, and would like also to involve the district manager in the definition of operation constraints. So it needs us to be taken in account in the optimization algorithm. Focusing on the modeling, we would like to focus also on the modeling of the single boiler, because at the moment, boiler 1 and boiler 2 has been modeled as a unique device. So that's all from my side. I don't know, yeah, if you have some question.
Thank you very much, Marilena. I will now share the screen with the polls. Please stay on the line. So we are now on the question about managing the district heating network. Let us know a little bit what do you need here to hear from us?
Yeah, basically, according to your experience, we would like to know how useful could be a service like this in managing the district heating network, mainly in order to make it more efficient.
We see here the live results from the participants. I remind people that can join from their desktop or computer by clicking on the link that is shared on the chat box. Yeah, apart from the QR code that is easily accessible by the smartphone. So I think I can see here it remains very, very useful.
Yes.
Yeah. This is a parameter that you're gonna need for further development of the service.
Yes, of course.
Yes.
Yes. This is a feedback that we have to take in account in order to proceed with our work to improve the services, because of course this is the first version of the services that we have delivered during this year of DigiBUILD project, but we will continue on developing it, on improving it.
Very good. I think we had a very clear result here. So we're passing on to the second question, that is an open-end question. So people here can come and type their views and opinions. What would you like to hear from us, Marilena?
Yeah, we would the aim of this question is to collect feedback with regards to their experience. So we have decided to select a specific genetic algorithm for the implementation optimization algorithm. We would like to know if they have some similar experience, if in the past they have decided to adopt the same algorithm, or if they have experience of another kind of algorithm. Basically, this was our question. If not, if it is not a genetic algorithm, it could be another kind of algorithm, I suppose.
Yeah, the main
no. Okay. So we could say that we are the first of using this kind of algorithm for developing the services.
Yeah.
Or yeah.
Oh, we have an interesting input here.
Okay. Can try with some more novel ones, such as optimization, or you can use some solvers. Okay. Thank you.
this is kind of suggestions that
Yes.
is interesting to hear, right?
Very, very, very interesting. Yes. Yeah. Yeah, it's a way to understand if we are on the right way, I would say. But if they have also other experience, other kind of algorithm is also usable to know, of course.
Yeah, and I would encourage the person who replied to this question to contact you if they want to share more.
Yes, please. Yes.
Very good. So I think it's time to move on to our next presenter, that is Vittoria Cipollone from Marche Polytechnic University. Please share your screen, Vittoria. I will stop sharing.
Yes.
Mine.
Can you see my screen? Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay. So good morning, everyone. I am Vittoria Cipollone, a PhD student from Università Politecnica delle Marche, and I will talk about two services for the management of comfort in the built environment. So let's immediately start with a brief introduction just to create a context within which these two services are developed and will be deployed. From literature, it is possible to find out that actually in the built environment, there is an increasing demand for innovation and sustainability too. So on the other hand, digitalization has become the driving force that led to the development of innovations and new technologies applied in the built environment. Moreover, obviously, a demand for a practical solution obviously has emerged from this kind of issue, we can say. And for this reason, DigiBUILD proposes these digital services that covers lots of aspects, such as the improvement of occupants' well-being and comfort in a certain indoor space, by considering always energy efficiency and its enhancement, and by considering also big data acquisition. Based on that, we can say that in order to include the comfort in the digitalization process, for sure, the practical thing that we can do is creating monitoring techniques for the enhancement of comfort by considering specific algorithms, and in particular, artificial intelligence and machine learning algorithms, which takes and handles data such as indoor environmental data, but also more subjective aspects in terms of user feedbacks that may provide a proper quantification of comfort. That is actually a complex quantity. And these things must be done always considering energy and energy consumption in order to manage at the same time proper energy consumption reduction, but also an enhancement of this comfort. Based on this background, we can say that the two services that I will show you now in the DigiBUILD framework aims at measuring comfort with artificial intelligence and machine learning based techniques, models. Obviously, analyzing data that are in real time will be pivotal for our developments, for the development of these two services. Real-time data taken from the sensors installed in real buildings, so the pilot buildings. And the management of energy consumption will be also pivotal in that case in order to maintain comfort, but always at a certain cost and a certain energy consumption level. So based on that, the two services that you can see here and that we will develop are the Enhanced Comfort and Wellbeing Service and the Comfort Performance Contract. The first one aims at developing the AI-based models that we would like to apply in the real-life context that I mentioned before, by considering high-quality data and with the aim of guaranteeing indoor environmental quality, so comfort, we can say, but also proper preservation of energy efficiency. And also the so-called coaching solution that you can see in the left of this slide would be fundamental, because in that case, the end user, so the occupants, will be an active part of the whole process. On the other hand, we have the comfort performance contract, which actually is really based on the first service. But in that case, the aim is creating a financial plan, we can say, so a contractual bond between what is the comfort maintenance and what is the energy consumption and energy cost. So you can see from this slide that everything is based on these algorithms, this data that must be of high quality. And these two services have been actually idealized and developed also based on our past experience. In fact, we are a research group that that is focused on the quantification of comfort, since it is a really complex quantity, through the application of machine learning and artificial intelligence, considering not only the environmental factors that actually are objective and are as they are, but also the human physiology, because our research have demonstrated how physiology and all the biosignals coming from them, from it, influences a lot how people perceive the thermal environment, so the surroundings. So in accordance to that, our two services considers these aspects. So we should take into account that comfort should be merged, we can say, with artificial intelligence. And what I mean is that artificial intelligence in that context will be fundamental, on one hand, to forecast the environmental condition that will be present in a certain building. So this part is more related to the objective side of comfort. On the other hand, we have the subjective side of comfort that must be handled also in this case with artificial intelligence. And in that case, I am talking about succeeding forecasting or tailoring actually environmental settings in accordance to the user needs in terms of user feedbacks, as you can see in the slide. And last but not least, we have the comfort and energy consumption aspect. So we need to exploit artificial intelligence in order to provide comfort-oriented strategies that maintain comfort, but at the same time optimize energy, always in terms of consumptions and cost reductions. So this is the background that helped us then to develop practically the two services, and that helped us to provide this methodology that we have applied in a case study that I will show you in the next slide. You can see here that our first step has been the definition of use cases and services. So from a more theoretical point of view, our aim was to have an overview of which we needed to develop then something that should be useful for the quantification of comfort in a certain context. After that, we went on with historical data collection. So both the environmental parameters and user feedbacks have been taken into account. And we have analyzed those data, because then the next step has been the comfort model selection. So in accordance to what we have analyzed from the historical data, we have decided to select a certain comfort model with the aim of providing a model which was effective, but at the same time simplified. So in other words, applicable in a real life context. And then we apply artificial intelligence, for the prediction of comfort. The case study that I mentioned in the previous slide is this one. So the pilot 5B of our project. You can see that the facilities involved in this pilot are two, but actually we have been focused on the office building, and the related stakeholders are the facility manager, the sustainability manager, whose requests have included the comfort maintenance and monitoring. So we have started with the analysis of historical data collected through the available technologies that are reported here in the slide on the right. And after that, we went on with the implementation of AI models in order to, on one hand, predict comfort. So starting from environmental factors, but also subjective indexes such as the thermal sensation both, we have predicted comfort, but at the same time, we have been also focused on energy forecasting in order to provide through the analysis also and the acquisition of historical energy data and weather data, provide a prediction of energy that, together with the previous prediction of comfort, led us to the basis, or better, the information that may provide the proper optimization of the indoor space, of the indoor environment, always in terms of comfort, that I mentioned before. So this is the practical application about our two services in a specific pilot. And now I will conclude with some advantages that our services should provide once applied in the context. We can say that the maintenance of comfort and its enhancement for sure will provide a higher quality of people well-being inside the facility, together with the fact that their work productivity obviously will improve. Energy costs and consumptions for sure will be reduced or better maintained at a certain and proper level, because thanks to the prediction, obviously, we will have a smart usage of all the technologies, all the devices that are installed in the building. And so our aim is to have a trade-off between these parts, so comfort and the usage of these things. And this part is actually inside the last point that you can see here in the slide, so the coaching solution, because this part, this advantage, is actually one of one innovative aspect that we would like to introduce with our services, where in fact the end user, as I mentioned before, so the occupant, we can say, is active part of the whole process. So on one hand, he or she will be pivotal for the quantification of comfort through their feedback. But on the other hand, they will be fundamental also for the maintenance or the improvement of comfort, because through specific recommendations, they will be able to act on the environment, so slow down the temperature and act like that in the office, for instance. And that's it about advantages. For sure, in order to have a more tangible result about our services, or better, their quality, our aim is also to provide a proper service validation procedure through the computation, of key performance indicators such as IEECP KPIs, economic KPIs, that may help to understand what effectively our services have done with their application in the pilot. And our next steps, for sure, are addressing the challenges that actually we have identified during the implementation of the alpha version of our services. So for sure, enhancing data quality and providing a proper connection between which are the comfort data and which are the energy data must be done in order to provide a proper optimization of the whole process and of the environment once applied the services. But also a proper retrofitting action should be needed to provide, for instance, the installation of new sensors that may lead to the acquisition of a higher data quality and so on. I finished my presentation, so if you have any question, or otherwise we go on with the poll that John will show us.
Yes, thank you very much, Vittoria, for your presentation. We go directly to the questions you have posed. So first one here is, it's about AI. Tell us a little bit more.
Yeah. The first question is about your experience in applying artificial intelligence for enhanced comfort in buildings. So if you have an experience with the application of algorithms to quantify comfort and the application of that algorithm in a specific environment, for instance.
Yeah, the main question here is what will be the feedback about the effectiveness of this?
Yeah.
Yes, let's see here. The open questions are always a bit more indirect to be replied, but we can have an idea from our audience how has been this use and experience regarding the application of AI to this topic. So we'll give some time more if someone wants to type it.
For visual comfort.
Yes.
Okay.
It would be nice to also hear about the effectiveness, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Again, I will encourage people who want to share more about the experience to contact directly the presenters.
Contact me.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. Absolutely. Lights. Okay. So up to now, I think that, for instance, that thermal comfort has not been studied a lot, maybe, or better the application of this AI approach.
Mm-hmm. It's good to share that there are also positive results.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good answer.
Yes. Okay, I think we need to pass on to our next question.
Yeah.
Here is a multiple choice answer, so let us know. Vittoria, what do you need here?
Yeah, the question is which comfort aspect do you think has the most substantial influence in the building energy consumption? So if thermal comfort is more influencing the energy consumption, or the visual comfort with the lights, for instance, and so on.
Yeah, and so far it's been very clear.
Yeah, that's fine.
And I guess it's something that you would expect.
Yeah, it's something that I have expected, yeah. Because with the heating, the cooling system, for sure is they are the most consuming part of a building, I think.
Very nice to hear this.
Okay.
Thank you all for your participation in the poll. Thank you very much, Vittoria, for your presentation.
Thank you.
I will now ask our next presenter, Dimitra Tzani, to share the screen and let us know about the other innovative service of DigiBUILD project.
Great. So, can you see my screen?
Yes, and
okay, now it's in okay.
Full mode. Thanks.
Yes, let's go a bit back. Okay. So hello everyone, and thank you for joining today. My name is Dimitra Tzani, and I'm a research associate at the IEECP. And today I'm going to present you the energy efficiency financing and policymaking service of the DigiBUILD project. So very briefly, because I think that the others have covered me already, we all know the problems with a huge energy consumption in the building sector, and that buildings are currently energy inefficient, and most of these will exist up to 2050. And on top of this, we have to struggle with problems of energy poverty, especially in Southern and Eastern Europe. And we see that despite all these problems and the policies taken from the European Commission, that the annual renovation rate remains low, and still, even though after the renovation wave, we struggle to increase it. So we need to take immediate action and support the decision framework of the various users in the decision framework progress of the renovation. So some of the objectives of this service is to estimate the energy saving potential of various energy efficiency measures, also estimate the cost effectiveness of these measures, and provide key information to the decision makers during the renovation stage. And on top of that, what we try to do with the service is to link our results with currently existing policies in the region that we try to examine in order to provide tailor-made recommendation and support. Sorry for this. Yes, so the main base that we start to build this is the overview of the service, and our main base is our dream model, which is a model based on Modelica and the Daimola simulation environment. And starting from this, we assess the baseline of the building consumption based also on historical data of the different buildings. And then we try to evaluate the performance of different conventional measures. We try to assess the economic benefits based on different indicators. And then, as I said, we try to provide suggestions based on real-life financing option, and also to link it to broader policy recommendations. Linking all this and integrating them, we try to develop integrated renovation packages that include different measures and financing options, starting from the DigiBUILD pilots. This is an idea of how the model looks. We have different options to check, starting from the building envelope, from the thermal system, from the thermostat that we use, from the different occupancy patterns in the building, the appliances, and we also have a thermal comfort module where we can also see that with the different actions that we take, we don't compromise the thermal comfort of the occupants. So this is a basic overview, and now I would like to present you the application of the service in pilot in Attica, here in Greece. So it is about a building in Attica which is built before 1985. So it does not have insulations. It has a central oil boiler. It does not have double glazed windows. So here for this pilot, we started with very basic measures in order to see how effective they will be in the building. So we didn't examine thermal comfort issues or let's say more demand and flexibility aspects. And we focused on the basic ones. The first one that we investigated in this application is the building envelope refurbishment. That includes the windows replacement with more energy efficient glazing. I think specifically for this case, we used double glazing windows and exterior wall insulation. The second measure was the replacement of the oil boiler with a gas boiler. And the third measure is the replacement of the oil boiler with a heat pump. And here we can see the overall energy performance analysis results. And we see that if we compare the baseline with the building envelope, the gas boiler and the heat pump is the one which achieves the greatest results in terms of energy savings. Then comes the building envelope, and we see that the gas boiler is not very effective in the specific pilot. And then we try to disaggregate this analysis and separate the energy performance into thermal energy consumption and into cooling and appliances consumption. And what we see here is that in the thermal energy consumption, we see a huge difference with the building envelope and with the heat pump. Again, we see that the gas boiler is not very effective, and an overall let's say result, but also conclusion that we see when we separated this analysis is that in the cooling and appliance consumption, we do not see much difference. So maybe as a next step and as a second interference in this building, we can try other measures that will also, let's say, try to lower the energy consumption into our the cooling energy consumption into the building. As a next step, okay, here it is. We try to see how this affects the different also the different daily consumption to see how in the different time through the year our performance was achieved. We see that the building envelope, the heat pump is the one that achieves the greatest energy savings throughout the year and in all the different areas. But we also see that the building envelope has very good results in, for example, in spring and in autumn, where we see that we have, let's say, mid temperatures here in Greece. So this is the most effective one in these periods. And again, we see that the gas boiler application was not very effective in terms of energy saving achieved. Then again, what we try to do is to see and disaggregate these results into the thermal energy, but also into the cooling and appliances. And we see that in the summer, we achieve better results with the HVAC and the buildings, but we see that these are not very effective during the autumn and the spring. But on the other side, in the thermal energy consumption, we see that we achieve better results. This is an overall overview of the energy savings results that we achieved with the service. And then as a next step, as a meta-analysis, what to try to do is to see what is the economic viability in these measures, taking into consideration real data from the current situation here in Greece and taking energy costs that are actually used from the different programs that are running currently in this country. The first indicator that we decided to go is the net present value. Then we use the simple payback period. And as a final indicator, we use the levelized cost of saved energy. We see that using a rate of 7%, none of the measures are really cost effective, taking into consideration the investment costs and the lifetime years of the different measures. But when we use a discount rate of 4%, that it's usually used in the energy efficiency programs or of subsidies through the government, we see that the building envelope is somehow cost effective for this pilot. Then, because of these results, we try to examine that if, for example, we used a subsidy that is running now into Greece, which is the Ex-Economo program now in the 2023, that can cover up to 75%, which is the highest level of subsidy that they can give to a building owner. And then we have the lowest contribution, which is at the 40%. And we try to examine that if we take this subsidy from the program, how cost effective then and how possible it would be for us to implement these actions. So for we see that if we use the subsidies, both the building envelope and the heat pump become cost effective in terms of net present value. And also we see that payback period falls a lot, decreases a lot, and becomes more appealing to the building owners. So this is the case for the 75% subsidy, which is the highest one, but we see that also this is the case for the lowest level, which is the 40% subsidization. Again, we see that for the gas boiler, even if we use, because of the current situation with the electricity prices and the gas prices, and because we take into consideration that these systems will be soon replaced, we see that in the current situation, replacing an oil boiler with a gas boiler, it's not cost effective in any case, even if we take the subsidies from the current program. So overall, these were the recommendations that we had for the pilot, and then we tried to link it into broader, let's say, recommendations also for the government and in terms of EU. And we see that maybe from these results, and if we take it also a bit broader, the subsidies should focus more on replacing the building envelopes and promoting, let's say, energy efficiency measures such as heat pumps, instead of allowing to have replacements with gas boilers in 2023. So this was overall how was the service framework and the application in the pilot in Greece. We aim to broaden also the measures in the other pilots and to check this also with other policy instruments in other countries. I think that now we can move on also with the question. Thank you very much.
Thank you too, Dimitra. Thank you for a nice presentation. I'm sharing directly my the screen with the questions. So here we are. Can you tell us a little bit more? What do you need from us?
We want to see that from the side, for example, if I'm a homeowner, if I had a detailed plan like this, that it would tell me that you should expect that much energy savings, you should expect that you will pay that much, and you will have a payback period of this level, how much this can help a building owner, for example. And we think that the innovation here is that we try to link it also with programs. So we have a very detailed plan that you can use this program, and if you use this program, then you will have this estimated results. So we want to see if this is something that users would like to see and think that will be useful.
Mm-hmm. I think it remains very interesting.
Yes, I think so too. So we're very happy, and our aim is to really integrate and not so conventional measures, and see also how this can be combined with more, for example, demand response, and check more innovative interventions with materials or adaptation measures like a green roof. So for the cooling, for example, aspects that we highlighted previously. And we started low with this building because it was quite old, and we first had to start it with a basic, but our aim is to have an integrated plan that will also include more innovative measures and practices, and provide a very, let's say, holistic renovation plan to the owners.
Let's hope everything goes very well for this. So we're going to the next question. That is an open one. So
yes, yeah. So here I added this question because we already use this model in various projects and with users, with pilots, and with modeling teams. And I think that also researchers that are here have developed similar models, and we see that there are a lot of models now that can estimate energy efficiency measures and energy saving potential, but yet we see that the users are not engaged in using them, or even though we have developed all these tools, again, a building owner will go to, let's say, an engineer in their neighborhood, or will, because of lack of knowledge, they will hesitate even to take this step and do the renovation. So for me is that, okay, we have this tool and we want to further develop it, and we'll do all these things. But for us, the main problem that we have seen from all these projects is how we can engage more public and users that they're not researchers. They're like, for example, my mother or a person that has no idea, to trust these results and trust their application and start using them broadly. So how, if other researchers have faced similar problems, and how they think, or how they have overcome this barrier of engaging more users and making the tools more appealing and the results.
Yeah, I think it's a very challenging question here. We will really interesting to hear the experience of our attendees today. Please share what you think.
Yes, and we know we have limited time. I think that all also can approach us in the DigiBUILD, and also to my personal email in IEECP, and engage further, or send us your interactions, because it's what we overall want to achieve through this workshop and through the DigiBUILD project. So do not hesitate also to send us your feedback and everything here.
Yes, that would be great. So we don't have more time to dedicate on this. So I will invite now our next speaker, Stathis Stamatopoulos, again from NTUA, to share his screen and present the last of the 5 services.
Here's my screen.
Yes. And now on full mode.
From National Technical University of Athens, and I will present you the Building Climate Resilience Assessment Tool that we developed within DigiBUILD project. As we all know, our world is experiencing significant changes in weather patterns shifting, intensifying, and occurring with greater frequency. These changes have made climate resilience in the building sector an absolute necessity. But what is about climate resilience? It is about ensuring that our buildings and infrastructure can withstand the challenges posed by these shifting patterns. However, it's not only an environmental issue, as we all know, but also a crucial step in reducing economic burden of recovery efforts. Today, we will delve into the development and importance of the Building Climate Resilience Assessment Tool. And let's explore how this tool can help safeguard our structures and save resources in the long run. As we discussed the Building Climate Resilience Tool, it is important to recognize the pressing need for a standardized rating system for buildings. But why do we need this standardization? The answer is simple. Consistency, comparability, and reliability in our efforts to enhance climate resilience of buildings. So our mission with this tool is clear. We aim to empower individuals, communities, organizations, and authorities by establishing a standardized system and hope that we can help them better prepare for the challenges of climate change. This will empower them to make informed decisions and take proactive steps to safeguard their assets, contribute to a more sustainable future. So our objective in developing the Building Climate Resilience Assessment Tool are clear and comprehensive. We are committed to achieving the following: to create a user-friendly platform that simplifies the process of assessing climate resilience of buildings, and to deliver a robust scoring system that offers a holistic view of a building climate resilience. What is essential for our tool is to align with EU directives and guidance, ensuring it fits seamlessly within the broader framework of climate action. So to achieve these objectives, our approach involves a two-stage process. Stage one is exposure analysis to climate hazards. This involves quantitative analysis or qualitative analysis based on availability of weather data. If available, we assess their hard numbers, gathering quantitative data on climate hazards. If not, we mitigate to a questionnaire approach where the user should respond to questions related to climate weather events. Then we proceed to stage two, the Building Climate Resilience Scoring System, in which we consider a range of building actions, building factors like construction information of the building, systems of the building, measures and plans for handling the occurrence of climate events. The climate hazards we are addressing, as described by the EU, include heat waves, cold waves, heavy precipitation, drought, flood, storms, and in our mission to develop a comprehensive building climate resilience assessment tool, the exposure analysis to climate hazards forms a crucial part. This analysis helps us understand the risks posed by various climate hazards. Here's how we are approaching it. Quantitative analysis. For quantitative analysis, we are using specific criteria for different climate hazards. As you can see, for heat waves, we consider the heat index. For cold waves, we cold waves are assessed using the wind chill index. Heavy precipitation is measured through rainfall. Storms are evaluated based on rainfall. To assess the risk of flooding, we look at rainfall, the distance from a body of water, and the elevation from sea level. And for drought, we employ the standardized precipitation index. We are also considering alternative criteria for some of these hazards, as you can see in this slide. Next, we proceed with the exposure scale in order to assign values based on the level of risk. So as you can see, we have a scale from low to very high exposure. But we don't, of course, we don't stop there. We normalize the result, assign importance to each climate hazard, and this allows us to create a weighted system that reflects the true to each climate hazard. Importantly, we are actively examining the calculation of climate data projected over a 10-year horizon. This long-term perspective enables better preparedness and planning to enhance climate resilience of buildings. Our next step involves the building climate resilience scoring system. This system is designed to comprehensively assess a building climate resilience across 7 critical categories of a building. These categories are as follows: the building envelope, the energy systems, the water systems, the site and location, the life cycle assessment, the climate proofing practices, and the sustainability practices. Currently, we have identified and scored 20 specific and unique criteria within these categories. For each criterion, we follow a structural approach. We define distinct levels for each criterion, enabling us to assess the building's performance effectively. Then we determine how each criterion performs across different levels for each climate hazard, ensuring that we capture the nature of resilience. We then normalize this input to ensure consistency and, of course, comparability. By integrating these criteria and conducting a holistic evaluation, our tool aims to provide precise and reliable resilience score for each building, supporting our mission to empower individual communities, organizations, and authorities to better prepare for current and future climate changes. Now, let's delve into the intricacies of scoring results calculation, a fundamental aspect of the building climate resilience assessment tool. This process allows us to distill the complex data we collect into meaningful insights. And here's how we do it. We begin by calculating a non-weighted resilience score for each climate hazard based on the criteria field for a pilot building or for any building. This step provides us with a baseline understanding of how the building performs in the face of specific climate changes. We then bring in the insights from the exposure analysis. This means applying the weights derived from our analysis of the risk associated with the different climate hazards. These weights reflect the importance and impact of each hazard on the climate, on the building's overall resilience. This way, we obtain an overall resilience score expressed as a percentage. This score is a measure of the building's climate resilience in a holistic sense. We also calculate the resilience score for each specific climate hazard as a percentage. Additionally, we evaluate the resilience score for each of the 7 categories previously mentioned. And this provides us a detailed breakdown of how various aspects of the building contribute to its overall climate resilience. As we move forward, it is essential to highlight the practical application of our building climate resilience assessment tool. Our pilot cases serve as a real-world example that demonstrate the tool's effectiveness. Specifically, we examined the exposure analysis from 2 pilot cases, Helsinki and Athens, for 2 buildings located, one in Helsinki and then one in Athens. In these cases, we conducted a comparison of both quantitative data and questionnaire results. This allowed us to gain valuable insights into climate exposure analysis, and the differences might come up in these 2 approaches. So for each pilot case, we present our findings regarding the exposure analysis. These pilot charts provide a visual representation of the exposure analysis. They offer a clear and intuitive view of the exposure of each region to each climate hazard. Then you can see how the weights were calculated for each climate hazard. Now let's dive into the heart of our pilot cases by examining the building climate resilience scoring results. These results provide a tangible snapshot of how well the buildings in our pilot case are prepared to withstand climate challenges. With the overall score represents the comprehensive climate resilience of each building. It's a holistic measure that takes into account the various criteria and weights applied. The building envelope score. This score focuses on the resilience of the building's envelope or outer structure, which plays a crucial role in protecting against climate hazards. The energy system score, in which we assess the building's energy systems, an essential component for resilience also. Additionally, we present the non-weighted resilience score per climate hazard in the form of bar charts. These charts offer a visual comparison of how each building performs in the face of specific climate challenges. Now let's explore the user interface of the building climate resilience tool and its purpose. Actually, it is the gateway to effective climate resilience evaluation. Our user interface will allow users to answer a structured questionnaire in case of no non-available weather data files for the location to be examined. However, if data are available, we make it simple to incorporate local weather data into the assessments. So users will be able to load weather data files in order to be analyzed. The tool also provides a clear presentation of the results from the exposure analysis, and this includes the risks posed by various climate hazards. Then our tool offers a catalog of criteria per category that can be filled out in order to calculate the overall climate resilience score of the building. The users will be also able to store the results for future references. Will also allow them to compare the resilience of multiple buildings side by side, facilitating data-driven decision making and prioritization. As we move on through the development and functionality of the building climate resilience tool, it becomes more and more clear that this tool holds the potential for significant impacts in the enhancement of climate resilience of building. Firstly, it can support informed decision making. The primary objective of this tool is to empower users to make informed decisions regarding the building's climate resilience by providing comprehensive data and insights that will offer a clear picture of building's ability to withstand and adapt to climate hazards. Beyond individual decision making, this tool has the capacity to raise awareness. It shines a light on the vulnerability of buildings to various climate hazards. This awareness is the first step forward into addressing proactive climate-related risks. Ultimately, the tool contributes to the overarching goal of building a more climate-resilient future for our communities and the environment. So, in summary, the Building Climate Resilience tool is more than just a tool and can play a catalyst role for informed decision-making, heightened awareness, and a stronger, more climate-resilient future. So, I want to express my sincere gratitude to all of you for your time, and if there are any questions, please feel free.
Thank you very much, Stathis. I think we'll go very fast to the questions you have posed for the audience. Just to share the first one. Tell us a little bit more. What would you like to hear?
Actually, through EU guidance, we found two conflicting issues. One, which is easy to fill tool, and the second one is the accuracy and the detailed manner of calculating the climate resilience score of a building. So we are trying to find the balancing point between these two in order to provide the easier to fill, the more user-friendly web tool, but also a quite detailed and accurate approach in evaluating the climate resilience of buildings.
It's always like a dilemma between being precise and being very easy to use. So
exactly, because in evaluating the ability of the building to withstand climate resilient hazards requires a lot of details in order to understand if this building is able to do it. So we are trying to find the balance point between them.
But would you say something about the user type of this tool? So
the user, sorry,
who will be the user of this tool, so we have an idea how friendly it should be?
Yes, our attempt is to for every building owner or occupant to be able to use this tool in order to receive insights on the building climate resilience on the climate resilience score of its building. However, this might having the need to go more in deep and in detail in evaluating the climate resilience of a building, we might require more technical answers in the systems or the building envelope of the building. So we are trying to find the perfect balance between the technical, let's say, and the everyday people to be able to use it. And this is the goal of the scope of European Union is to it's for everyone to be able to feel such to acquire an assessment on the building climate resilience.
Yeah, our audience, I think, are very much into this balance, so we can see the results. So now we're proceeding to the last question for today, and it's an open one. But can you explain us a little bit more so people can?
Yes, well, this is more like a follow-up question to the previous one. Well, in order to be precise in the exposure analysis, of course, we will need weather data, numerical weather data. So, since we want the everyday user to be able to use it, this might be difficult for someone to acquire, or there might not be available open weather data related to its building. So we, as a mitigation strategy, we follow the questionnaire-based methodology, which of course is not that accurate as the data analysis of weather data. However, it is an approach in order to proceed and calculate the exposure of the building to these climate hazards. So if there is any comment about it, it will be highly appreciated.
Yes, please, yeah, feel free to contact the staffs directly and share experience,
Yes,
or like ask your opinion on this methodology, because we need to move to our first guest for today, who is Tudor Choara. Thank you very much, Stathis. And thank you very much, Tudor, for joining us today.
Hi,
Please,
thank you for inviting me.
please share your screen and let us know about your project.
I think someone has to stop sharing.
Yeah, it was me.
Okay. Okay. Nice to meet you virtually all. My name is Tudor Choara. I will try to present some of the one of the technological enablers developed in the DALUS project, which has the goal of unlocking building flexibility and moreover trying to find a way of what to do with the flexibility after I have unlocked it. Regarding the Daedalus project, the Daedalus project aims to develop multi-carrier, multi-energy carrier agnostic demand response tools. So we are not looking only to the electricity, but only also to other flavors of energy, with a view to enable buildings to provide as much as possible demand response to the to various stakeholders in both electricity and heat grids. In order to meet this goal, we have a big consortium covering all stakeholders into the chain, and also a nice variety of technological enablers that could be used and could be leveraged in order to meet this goal. In my presentation, I will stop and I will present a tool that it is based on blockchain and smart contracts, which could be and could have the potential of transforming the buildings in active players that could eventually sell, buy, or provide their flexibility to other buildings in order to be self-sustainable. This is an overview of the platform that we will develop and will experiment in the DALUS project. Basically, we leverage on electricity and heat data from each individual building. This electricity and heat data will be stored in a tamper-proof manner in the distributed ledger. And this distributed ledger, which is based on blockchain, has the potential not only to securely store the data in a decentralized manner, but also to reinforce the trust between all the participants in such demand response programs, between citizens and buildings owners, between buildings owners and DSO, and so on. The data stored in this ledger could not be modified, could not be tampered by anyone. So based on that data, the first step that we'll do is to try to forecast the amount of flexibility that the building could leverage in their head. So not looking only to the demand or only to the production of a building, but also onto the flexibility, and try to predict that flexibility in the next day. Of course, we are leveraging on artificial intelligence models, on machine learning models, but in order to reassure and reinforce the privacy, because one of the main concerns that prevent citizen involving in this kind of demand response programs is the privacy of their data. We will be leveraging on a federated solution. And in this federated solution, at the level of each individual building, we store data on their side, and the machine learning models will not be applied on a centralized server, on a cloud infrastructure, but will be applied decentralized at each individual edge node, at each individual building. And then leveraging on the same blockchain, we will exchange only the results of the model learning. So basically, we're not exchanging data, energy data. We'll exchange processing results. Based on this, the outputs of the prediction and the flexibility predicted for each individual building, the building will be empowered to participate to a local market, a peer-to-peer market. In that market, we can have various actors. We can have other buildings in the same district, or we can have players like the distribution system operator. Using smart contracts on top of the buildings, the process of submitting bids and offers for flexibility in that market is automated, so it's an automated process. And moreover, we will use non-fungible tokens in order to digitize the amount of flexibility that it's actually traded by each individual building. The use of tokens could have a significant value because it's opened the space for considering other ways of conducting the settlement of the demand response programs. Usually, and this is the state of the art today, the settlement is conducted in a purely financial manner. But we all know that the revenue from demand response is not that big, and it's not that motivated. Basically, the consumers are not motivated in participating in such programs due to the low incentives. In such a way, using tokens or non-fungible tokens, we can study and assign other values to that tokens that could go beyond the financial value. For example, we can have some discounts in local shops or in local services in that area. We can use the non-fungible tokens as a means of gamification, assigning awards or a rating based on the flexibility that has been provided. During the next operational day, based on the transactions set up in this peer-to-peer market, the demand response programs are being generated, and these demand response programs now are basically conducted in the peer-to-peer manner. So not it could be from between two buildings, or we can have multiple buildings to one larger player that could be part of the market. Based on the information acquired from the power meters, from the meters of electricity and heat, we can then conduct the settlement of such programs. And the settlement is also leveraging smart contracts which automatize the process, and moreover, it makes the process in a tamper-proof manner, so nobody could alter the data after it has been inserted into the ledger. So again, it reinforced the trust between all parties in the chain, that the data it's not modified, and the distribution of financial and non-financial revenue is being done correctly and fairly. So as a conclusion, I would say that basically the Dalus and this kind of platform, it's about technology, but not only about technology. It's about how to use technology in order to reinforce trust, and in order to empower citizens, empower buildings to become active players in such ecosystem. If you have any questions, if I were to put a question like the one before, the question will be related to financial and non-financial incentives in demand response. So that could be an interesting point of view to see your opinion on. If non-financial incentives could be used in order to increase the engagement of consumers in demand response programs. Okay.
Very interesting your presentation, Tudor. Thank you very much. I think people can come in touch with you through the website of the Dalus we see here. We need to pass on to our next guest speaker, Sofia.
Thank you.
Sofia, thank you very much for being here. Sofia Mulero from Cardiff will share some information about the relatively new project Build On.
Yes, hello, good morning.
Good morning.
I cannot share my screen. I think that...
Yes, sorry,
okay.
I just... Okay, thank you.
Okay, it's working now. Okay, first of all, thank you very much for forwarding this invitation for Build On. As you said before, my name is Sofia Mulero. I'm the project coordinator, and I will give a brief overview of the project. Build On, or affordable and digital solutions to build the next generation of smart European buildings. It's a Horizon Europe project, an innovation action, which started in May this year and will end by October 2026, financed by S.p.A. and having a contribution of almost 6 million euros. We are a consortium of 20 partners coming from different countries, from 9 countries, with expertise from large companies, European SMEs, different stakeholders covering the whole value chain, non-profit organization and association, and for sure research institutions. The main goal of Build On was funded under the call Smarter Buildings for Better Energy Performance. So the main goal is to develop a highly replicable generic solution to provide smart building services, and also to facilitate the integration of the heterogeneous systems and the technologies in buildings. And to this aim, we propose a smart transformer toolbox in order to improve this energy performance. And this toolbox will be offered and demonstrated in different pilots, having different, covering different climate zones, different energy restrictions, and having different levels of smart readiness. Our smart transformer toolbox is built on three main dimensions. The first one, the business one, through our data-driven innovative energy business models. We also cover a social dimension, which is very relevant in the project, thanks to the set of user-friendly tools that we provide to empower users and to support in decision-making. And finally, the third dimension is the technical one. Thanks to the IoT XCloud interoperable framework to facilitate this communication between the different energy systems. Our set of MAPO services to monitor, assess, predict, and optimize the building performance, and a set of digital twins for simulation and also for building operation. More in particular, in terms of our services and looking for the synergies with the services that were presented today from DigiBUILD, we also propose a set of analytical services based on artificial intelligence. And in these categories, we find a set of services for building energy assets monitoring and benchmarking, and also for energy fingerprinting. These services, on top of these services, we will also provide a set of automation and control strategies covering three main domains: user comfort strategies, assets control services, and grid optimized energy flexibility services. And this will be available for users through different end-user applications in order to facilitate the use of these technologies. And users will also have the opportunity to assess the smart readiness of their buildings, having some support from different tools, and also the results will be presented through a digital building logbook. Finally, we will also provide digital twins from this category: modeling, intuition, and performance simulation. These digital twins have covered two different levels: a set of digital twins for building performance simulation, and we also want to close the loop, providing digital twins for smart building operation. This will be applied in 5 pilots covering different typologies. We have residential buildings, but also tertiary buildings covering an office building, educational building, and also commercial buildings. These buildings have different smart readiness level, different energy constraints and configuration, and they are also covering the different wide range of building stakeholders in order to ensure the replicability of our solutions. And that's all from my side. You have also here the details from Build On if you are interested, and you can also contact me for more information.
Thank you so much, Sophia, for your concrete presentation of Build On. Thank you also for being very punctual in time. I think we have a few minutes for discussion. For any questions you have to ask our presenters, feel free to open your mic and let us know your opinion, or if you have any extra inputs to provide. The floor is open to everybody, so feel free to open your camera and let us know who you are and what you find interesting here, and if you have any further feedback to give to the presenters of the services, or our guest speakers.
Hello, do you see me?
Yes, hello.
Okay, thank you. Briefly, let me introduce myself. I'm Marco Beccali from the University of Palermo. I am one of the members of the advisory board. So it was a pleasure for me to take part to this meeting, and all the presentation that you gave was were very interesting. And for sure, I have some questions, some curiosity. I don't think now it's the moment to go through to all the questions that are mainly my curiosity about the methodology and also the algorithm that you have been using. And let's take only one as an example for a general, let's say, suggestion, recommendation. And in the first presentation given by NTUA about the service that starting from the analysis of thermal comfort aims to give some hints about the need or the advantages related to the substitution of the HVAC plant. And we have seen that in the poll, many people asked for more detail about the energy consumption, asking for a graph reporting the energy consumption, the daily energy consumption for the year. And I think it's the result of the same curiosity that I have in order to know how they assess, for instance, the payback time. Payback time obviously is related to energy saving, and the energy saving is related to the fact that when you use a new equipment, you have higher efficiencies, higher COP, and so I guess that in this calculation there is an analytic comparison day by day or hour by hour of the COP of the two equipment and then the consumption of the two equipment. We know that COP is related not only on the let's say quality of the equipment, but it's also related to the environmental condition. Let's say the two different temperatures of operation, indoor and outdoor, to be simple. And so the question is, for sure, the group taken into account this aspect that is related to a physical law. And I think that the recommendation is to make more transparent in your report, in your meetings, in your information communication, more transparent the way you make this assessment. And because people used to think that artificial intelligence is a black box, and maybe it is a black box, but we have to take care that all the calculation that we are going to do must be as much as precise as possible, and all the hypotheses and all the assumptions that are made must be declared, must be transparent. It's a general recommendation in the framework of a very high quality work that I've seen, and I'm very happy about your presentation.
Thank you very much, Marco. I would like to say about the first portion of the service, so where we evaluate the AC replacement. In this section, well, we actually don't use any artificial intelligence because the calculations are quite simple. So what we do is we have determined the working hours of the AC and the consecutive working hours of the AC that the user uses. And after that, we calculate its efficiency, and you have seen that we also have the energy consumption, and we also calculate the cost for that energy consumption annually. And after that, since we have the specs of the new AC, so as you said, the SCOP and the SEER and the capacity, so that we know the AC's efficiency both when it does cooling and heating, so that by assuming that the new AC will be working on the same schedule as the old one did, we can calculate again how efficient it is, etc., and come to conclusion about the final consumption and the cost. So as you can see, the calculations are quite simple. If we wanted to use artificial intelligence here, we could say that we could simulate, as we did in the second service, the usage of the new AC, because if the new AC is more effective and more powerful, then maybe it will not have to work the same hours as the last one did. So maybe we can improve our accuracy there, because the working hours would in fact be less. But this can be shown in the second service. So if this is something that really interests you and the users, I think it could easily be implemented, since we already have a methodology for the simulation in the second service.
Very well. Thank you very much, Marco, for your insightful opinion and feedback. We would like to have a dedicated session with only the advisory board members to have a further discussion. As I see, already Daniela has addressed some of your comments, and it will be very useful to continue this exchange. I'm afraid that the time is a bit off for us, so I would like, unless there is any last minute question, I would like to thank everybody for being here. A special thanks to all the speakers, and of course all our attendees for participating.